This is National Chess Master Rats at chess.com to continue my video series on the correspondence team match played between my video lessons group and the team CARPE DIEM. This was played on board 84. Our man is M15180 versus Tolodoxadrez. I guess that's Portuguese. That's the latter half of his name is the Portuguese name for chess. Or he could be Brazilian. I'm not going to look him up. Anyway, this game it's a good game for a while, but then it just gets very puzzling. Black just commits this horrible blunder, which basically gives him a lost game. We'll see what happens. White's employing what we call the Alpen Sicilian. Now, what Black does is okay, but it allows White to build up a pawn center. But, Black should still be okay with it. Knight f6 or d5 are considered to be the main lines, but he didn't play those. Again, what he's playing is perfectly acceptable. But White does get his pawn center. I used to, when I was playing on ICC Blitz chess a lot, just for the fun of it, I would get this type of position a lot, and Black always equalized, and that's what Black does here. Both sides are doing what they need to do. They're developing their pieces, and I've been talking out against rook pawn moves, but it's kind of funny. They don't really matter as much in this type of position. Black will often move his queen rook pawn up. That's to provide a spot for the queen. But maybe Black has some chances later to do something on b3. But we're not in a real Sicilian, so we don't have the imbalance in the pawn structure that we will in a Sicilian. By that I mean, let's reverse this arrow. We'll make a knight move and put this pawn back on c2. Now a3 is kind of not a really good move. Okay, Black will have the superior pawn structure on the queen side, plus a lot of pressure on the half-open c file. But the game is objectively even. Here, Black plays to keep his dark squared bishop. I think, in a way, I have always preferred, if they want to trade off my bishop, just let them, okay? I don't try to preserve it. I recall a game I played, when did it start? 1986. It was a correspondence game against ICCF. He was 2400. I probably might have become an IM shortly after. I don't remember. Jürgen Danner from Germany. I was playing White, and there was a position, it was out of an English opening, where I had castled kingside and fianchettoed my king bishop, and he's setting up a battery here with his queen and bishop. And there was a lot of game analysis where White goes to preserve the bishop back to h1, and there was quite a lot of analysis to look at. We got books out, we got our stuff out of books back in those days, and I had a number of resources that I was pouring through, and I played over each one. And I always thought that Black got a good game if White kept his light squared bishop. So what I did was I just opted to let him trade it and concentrated on developing and activating my other forces. And after he traded my bishop, I just gradually just outplayed him and won the game. And I don't think I would have won had I followed the lines that were given in the book. And as I said, I thought Black got great play in those games. So this is an example of how you use correspondence chess to get better. When you find the variations that have already been played, you look at them, because you assume your opponent is going to have access to the same games you are, right? Well, they're not doing it in correspondence chess now. I'm trying to teach otherwise, but by comparing them, I made an evaluation myself, which is a key component of when you're playing a game of chess. You're trying to see what you can see. If your opponent sees more, he wins. Okay, or maybe he doesn't win. Maybe he draws. But the whole point is you're increasing your analytical prowess and your judgment and your planning skills. And if your plan didn't work, well, you realize why it didn't work, because there was a flaw in the plan, and then you try harder next time. So here, Black just blindly trading his or saving his dark squared bishop. Let's just look at what he could have done. Okay, let's develop a piece. Okay, let's bring this rook into play. Okay, now let's get this queen activated. Where do we want to put it? A5, just for the fun of it, okay? And the reason I'm doing this is I'm giving black 2 moves. Now white takes and black takes. Now it's white's move. Now let's do a little comparison of the position between what happened and what could have happened. So this is what could have happened. Let's see. Got to find the right spot here on the PGN. Okay, so here we have the position after black's 13th move. Here we have the position after white's 12th move. Now look at the difference for white. The only difference in white's position is the bishop on h6 has vanished. White has nothing in white's position has changed. Nothing. Okay, now let's click it again and see what's changed in white's position. The bishop has vanished. That's what's changed. Now let's look at it again. But now we're going to look at what's changed with black's game. Okay, what's changed? Okay, I'm not hitting the right button. Let's see, I'll find it. 1 second. Rookie 8. Oh, I hate this PGN, the way they do things on chess.com. You can't find the line you're looking for. C8. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay. Let's look at the difference in black's position here. See what changed? The bishop on h8 has gone off the board. But the queen and the rook remain on black's queen side, remain on their original square. The rook is shifted over to e8. That's what's different about black's position, is the placement of these 4 pieces. Okay? All that happened in white's position is this piece vanished. Now with my suggested line, this bishop is off the board. This rook is back here, but this queen and this bishop are developed. And in both cases, it's white's move, but black has got 2 extra tempos thrown in. So let's click this one more time. Is this rook really needed on e8? No, it isn't. Okay. It's actually better off on f8 because if black ever doubles rooks, it'll get to c8 in 1 tempo. So this is a reason why to allow your opponent to trade off your fianchetto bishop. Okay, this is a reason why. You can go develop 2 other pieces and just let them do it. And experience has proven me right more often than not. When I just let my opponent trade my bishop off, and I go and improve the position to 2 pieces. Now, I'm not saying black's going to win here, and black could have arguably played queen b6, and then maybe getting ready for knight a5, knight c4. I mean, the game's still even, but black is better mobilized here than he is in the real game. Okay, now let's find the real game. Here we go. He kept the bishop. And now does black get his queen side activated? Well, here it comes. Okay. And he does the same 2 moves that I was playing for him a little earlier. But now the difference is white has this rook in play and it's white's move. Now white spent a tempo with h3, but we can forgive that, I guess, because really white doesn't have any kind of tangible advantage. This pawn center is great, but anytime it advances, I think black can maintain the status quo, and again, that's what's going to happen. White doesn't really have an advantage, even the way black's played it. And black wouldn't have had much better game the way I played it. But you never know. When you get more development, do it. It gives you more options. And I still think the game is relatively even. And here, I think this gives white some decent play, the way it's now turning out. And we'll see what I mean when we get there. We're almost there. And we're almost to the point where black blunders the game away. Okay, so white's parting with the bishop pair, but he's going to cripple the black pawn structure. So obviously, you take back. Does white have a mate? No, he doesn't. Or does he? Let's see. F4. Well, if at some point we have a check, let's just hold on hold on that. And we could check on d4. Let's just park this bishop on f6. That keeps g7 under attack. White's attack's over, but he does seem to be winning a pawn. So maybe black looked at that and said, I can't lose a pawn. But what he played was worse. He just gave up a piece. So black retreated his bishop to g7, and now white's just up a piece and saves his bishop, and black has absolutely nothing to show for it. So here we are, game over. I mean, they play on, and I'm just going to run through the moves, then we'll come back and take another look. Doesn't matter what black does, he never has a chance here. And white's happy to trade pieces off, activate the knight, safeguard the pawn. Let's open up some lines so I can use my queens and rooks. Now black tries to lock the position up. And it kind of stays locked here for a little bit, but white just starts slowly, steadily improving his position. Look at that, doubled rooks on the open file. Queen getting ready to penetrate. Here she comes, and g6 is not defendable. And now the game quickly ends. Knight e6 check, and black is going to be mated no matter what he does. First, he's going to lose this rook. The king has one legal move. And after this check, the king has one legal move. And, wow, white has his choice. Let's just get this rook into play for the fun of it, okay? One legal move. No, that's your legal move. Hey, look at that. A rook, two rooks and a knight ahead with a checkmate. So let's come back to the critical point when black could have just lost a pawn, it appears, and chose to give up the piece. Let's see, got to try to find the right spot here. Let's see. Okay, here's the right spot. So what did black do wrong before this? Assuming that pawn takes queen check and then white picks up the pawn, he's winning a pawn. What has black done wrong here? Okay. Was b5 the wrong move? It seemed to allow the continuation of d5 and then taking on e5 with tempo to uncover the attack on h5. Was b5 the wrong move? Well, maybe. Where else could black have put his knight? Well, you could put it on a7. The idea here is maybe to try to get b4 in so the knight has a new square. It could go to b8, although it doesn't really have much of a future there for now. This bishop is stuck, and it can't get to d7. Well, it could get there eventually. You slide the rook over and drop the bishop back, and then the knight will come in. This seems to stop white from winning a pawn. Let's see. Let's put this knight on d4 because this uncovers the threat of doubling the pawns. And, just bring the knight back. White's got a space advantage. The black position is probably defendable. I guess I would rather have white than black here. So, maybe some of this comes back to black playing knight h5 in the first place too, getting it over there on that side of the board. What was white threatening here? e5? Maybe. Can black get away with e5? That shuts his bishop, and then he worked to save. It softens up d5 permanently. Let's see, e5. Oh no, he can't play e5. Well, yeah, you can play it. I was thinking f6 hangs, but there's a bishop covering it. Okay, let's see. Pawn takes. Now, how do you want to take back? Stick with the pawn because we gain a tempo. Now, white's getting d5, but we talked about that already. But the queen has to move somewhere. Queen e3. And let's see. Knight d4. Can he get away with this move? I have an idea of a discovery. I'm going to give up a pawn and do a discovery. Let's see. Looks like maybe black can get his pawn back here. Well, no, that's going to hang the bishop on d7. Darn it. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, so I was trying to make an exchange on h6 and then soften up e4. You know, rip this cripple. Okay, here I'll show you what I was trying to do. It's unsound. At least see if that part was right. Okay, I was going to play knight here. Now, yeah, obviously you can take, but I was looking at this. You know, you analyze bad moves when you looking for moves. It's okay. Now you take this. Now the white pawns are going to get crippled. Now which pawn do you want? E4 or A3 or C3? Well, let's just take E4 and keep all the pawns on the queen side weak. You know, maybe white has some shots with rook d8 trying to get the rook to the back rank. But of course this whole line is not good because white could take on d7. But I'm just saying, you know, I'm looking for moves for black to other than what he did, which ended up costing him the game. I'm just trying to find other moves. He played knight h5 here. Where did the queen come from? Queen came from d. Well, here's an interesting move. Queen f4, knight h5, queen d2. Why not come back to f6? Basically, what this does is it says, well, white, you want to draw? If white wants to play queen f4, that's what black's going to do. And make white come up with a new plan here. Okay? You know, objectively we want to win every game, but drawing with black is satisfactory, especially in a team match. Draw with black, win with white. And apparently he did win with white because the score ended up 1-1. Anyway, I'm trying to make something trying to get something of value into each and every one of these videos. Even though he lost a piece to a blunder, whether it was moving too fast or a misevaluation, thinking maybe he was going to get mated, we don't know. There's definitely lots of hit tips and hints and suggestions here for you to improve your game, and that's what we're trying to do with this series. And I thank you so much for your time. Take